Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Inside the Vinyl. I'm your host, Tim Bianconi. If you would, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel below. That would be greatly appreciated. If you could also hit that notification bell so you can be notified when we put out new content, that would be appreciated as well. So this time I'm going to dip back into my Lost Classic series and talk about a band from the Los Angeles hair metal scene of the 80s, and that would be Faster Pussycat and their second record, Wake Me When It's Over. So Faster Pussycat was formed in 1985. Wake Me When It's Over is their second album, released in 89. Their self-titled record was released in 1987. You may remember some of the classic tracks is Don't Change That Song, Bathroom Wall, and Cat House. And like I said, in 1987, they released Wake Me When It's Over. 1989, was released on August 28th of 1989. It reached as high as number 48 on the Billboard charts and was certified gold. And it's probably most well known for a song called House of Pain that I guess you could throw in with the rest of the power ballads of the mid to late 80s, hair metal scene. So let's go ahead and take a look at this record. All right, so what I have here is actually a reissue that I actually picked up a few years ago. This is not like an original 1989 issue. So again, there's the front cover, Faster Pussycat, Wake Me When It's Over. And then if you look at the back here, just a collage of band photos as well as a track listing. And also the Elektra logo here at the bottom. So I don't know if this was released by Rhino. I think if it was Friday Music, it would have that logo blasted on here somewhere. So I think this was maybe just a Warner, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, it just says Elektra on the back. So yeah, okay, this was just an Elektra Records reissue. So yeah, very cool. All right, so again, front cover, back cover. Let's see what's inside the vinyl. All right, so if I open this bad boy up, yeah, a little underwhelming, especially for a reissue. Just a white sleeve inside. Nothing special here. So we'll just go ahead and pull this out. I mean, there's no lyrics, no nothing. So if I pull out the record, here we go. It is, hold on, let me see if I can turn this around here. All right, this is 180 gram vinyl. And in the middle there, just a pretty basic white sticker, nothing special, with the Elektra logo on it. With the track listing, and if I flip it over, we see the exact same thing for side 2. So a little underwhelming there, Show's called Inside the Vinyl, so we always want to let you see, like what's inside these, these issues and reissues and whatever else, And unfortunately, there was not much to this one, which again is kind of surprising. I'm surprised there's not a lyric sheet, more in the way of liner notes. I mean, there's really not anything in here. So anyway. All right, so let's talk about the record for a second. It received mixed reviews upon release. Some praised the fact that it was less glammy and more blues rock sound. However, there were others that didn't like the fact that they got away from like the real trashy glam rock, LA like gutter, type, music that was on that first record. Some people hated the way they moved away from, when they moved away from that trashy glam sound and got into a more mature blues rock sound. Now, that's not to say a lot of that trashiness still isn't on this record. I mean, it's definitely apparent right from the first single, Poison Ivy. But I mean, jeez, let's talk about some of the songs on here. I mean, if we start right from side 1, it starts with Where There's a Whip, There's a Way. Awesome song, really cool song. Little Dove, nice cool little riff at the beginning, and then really just rocks out at the end. Actually, I think it's Where There's a Whip, There's a Way that really just rocks out at the end, if I'm not mistaken. And then Little Dove, goes, has a cool little riff to it and just kind of, jams out a little bit at the end. But there's a really heavy riff at the end of the first track, Where There's a Whip, There's a Way, that's really cool. Then it goes into the first single, Poison Ivy, which if you were a 13-year-old in the fall of 1989 like I was, and you watched a lot of, I think it was called Dial MTV at the time, you saw lots of, 80s rock and everything, on that particular countdown every day. And 1989, especially late 89, was a great time, probably the last great time for the hair band era. Everything really got watered down and whatever after that until grunge took over a couple of years later. But in the fall of 89 was another stellar time for the hair band era, much like 87, 85, and 83 were. So, it was a great time, and Faster Pussycat fit right in there. Poison Ivy was on Dial MTV all the time. And then, of course, they released the biggest single on the album, which is a song called House of Pain. Very personal to me. I'm assuming, Tammy Down, the singer, wrote it about his severed or lack of relationship with his father. I went through a lot of the same thing, early in my life, a dad that wasn't around. So, to this day, I can hear that song and get a little bit teary-eyed. So, to date, that is Faster Pussycat's only top 40 single. And like I said, it's not really a monster ballad, meaning it's not some mushy love song to a girl, like most of the other ones were. It's a very personal song, but still, gets lumped in with the monster ballads, and power ballads and everything of the mid to late 80s. But again, great for them. It got them a top 40 single. It got them a gold record. So it's kind of hard to complain about it. Then if we get over to side two, again, the whole album is great, but the standout tracks on side two have to be Slip of the Tongue. With a slip of the tongue, I'm in deep shit. Just a great song. And then another track later on side two called Tattoo. Those are the two big highlights of the second side for me. So, on the strength of this album, this band did tour with Kiss and Motley Crue. Funny story, maybe not funny to him, but the drummer, Mark Michaels, was arrested during this tour for FedExing heroin to himself. So note to self, folks, if you're going to do drugs, don't send them through federal mail like USPS, FedEx, UPS, or the like. Frankie Banali of Quiet Riot filled in, and I think Quiet Riot was on hiatus at that point, so he had all the time in the world and fill in for the tour. The drummer was the drumming role was later filled by a guy named Brett Bradshaw. But again, like I said, they opened for Motley Crue, they opened for Kiss. I think when the Dr. Feelgood tour came through Jacksonville in 1990, I think Faster Pussycat was the opening band. I might be wrong. Unfortunately, like I said, it was their one top 40 hit, their one gold record. This was pretty much the peak for them. After this, by the time they released their next album, Whipped, in 1992, things had very much changed. Grunge was on its way up, and, hair bands were pretty much falling away, falling to the wayside. And Faster Pussycat, unfortunately, was one of those. Their 1992 album, Whipped, only peaked at number 90. And that was pretty much the end of their major label presence as they knew it. And they would go on to release some other music later on, but later work was a little more industrial, including Tammy going back and doing like more industrial versions of some of the classics and whatever. And then there's stories on Wikipedia, about there being two versions of Faster Pussycat, which we've seen a lot with, some of these 80s bands over the years. So unfortunately, this album, as great as it is, was pretty much the peak, and everything else was downhill afterwards for this group. But again, if you want to check out a great record and a record that really doesn't get enough respect and isn't looked at high enough amongst the 80s hair band era albums, check out Faster Pussycat, Wake Me When It's Over. This is a classic that probably deserved a lot more than what it's got, but that's how it goes. That's all I've got for you today. Like I said, if you could go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. Also hit that notification button. That'd be greatly appreciated. I've got some other content out there. I've got the rest of my Inside the Vinyl series, which includes lost classics, like Wake Me When It's Over, and other records that I think everybody should hear. I've also got my live album series, where we focus on classic live albums, some good, some whatever. I've got my Unboxing the Vinyl series, where we open up reissues, new albums, box sets, whatever. Much like the three you see right over here, I've got videos on all of those. I've also got some concert footage out there from some festivals, Exit 111, Welcome to Rockville, Kiss concerts, and hopefully more to come soon with Welcome to Rockville coming up next weekend. And I've also got some crappy disc golf videos starring some very mediocre players, myself included. So again, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification button, and we will see you next time. Peace out.